The tape showed nothing that wasn't to be expected. Obviously, New England played well, deserved the game. They were clearly the better team that day. Biggest thing for me is what was really disappointing is to me is that we played poorly. I mean that's as simple as that. The best I could put it, I guess. That was a big factor in the game. I mean the worst one was when we got him 3rd and 23, and he's able to throw a touchdown pass. I mean that's inexcusable. So there were some things like that. And even in the second half, we get off the field on third down. Oh, there's a penalty. Now there's another penalty. So there are things we helped extend drives. Brady had 137 quarterback rating or whatever it was. It's just, it was, poor performance on our part and a great performance on his part. Well, I think a season as a whole, I think it was kind of up and down, and maybe in the game it was as well. You 2 or 3 holding calls, and obviously had a big mistake on that Hogan touchdown. And whether it was communication, whatever the breakdown was. So it wasn't a great performance on his part. I'm sure we'd like to have some plays back. Well, I think that's just, getting back to the fundamentals and getting back to, what he did in training camp. He's physical. He was, he was aggressive, and if the ball was thrown his way, you're wondering if he was going to come down with it. It's almost like a 50-50. So we got to get back to doing those things. Gave up some scores too, like on some of those. Like, you look at the big plays, explosive plays. We had 6 on offense. We had 3 we gave up on defense. Yet they're touchdowns. So 2 of them were touchdowns. You can't. We can't win games like that. There's no way. We've got to be smart. If we get beat physically, that's one thing. But when you tie in something, you contribute to some of the mistakes, or some of their big plays. It's we have to get back. Yeah, you got to, and part of that now. Let's not kid ourselves. Part of that is you got to give the opponent credit. I mean, New England won that game, and they deserved that game. Part of it is what they did. They out-executed us. There's no question about that. It wasn't like we just were running around, had no idea what we were doing. We got beat. We knew what the play was. They out-executed us on several plays. But I've made a big mistake, a tactical mistake I made. I won't get into it specifically, but when Lorenzo Alexander was out, a lot of the things that we had planned on doing, we really didn't get to, and I think that hurt us. And not making excuses, because we got to get better at playing what we had called to, and we've got to do a better job. And I myself know better. I mean, I know I can do better. I think you had talked about it. I'm concerned with the lack of consistency. We know we have to play better, and especially against an opponent like that, we got what we expected. He was, and we got to do a better job of defending it. There's no doubt. We knew it was going to be a big challenge to us, but there's some times where we're going to ask guys that they've got to step up. They're going to have the tough down because we got to protect other things. And in that moment, we got to be at our very best. And it can't just be a sum of the time thing. The plan is some guys have to step up, and when we ask you to do something, you got to excel. Well, Reggie, quite honestly, he had a groin injury. He sustained in that game, but he made a couple of nice catch on that one wheel route. We thought he was going to be a big part of what the plan was going in, but when he got hurt, obviously that kind of took us back a little bit. But I think Reggie is, up until this thing, I thought he was looking better than he had, all through training camp and anything else. So hopefully this thing won't be that big of an injury for him. Yes, I do. Yep. Because those things are 40-yard sprints, and with a hamstring. I think his play number extended. We got to be mindful of this moving forward. I mean, he had 80-some snaps or whatever the previous week. So, I definitely, I mean, do I regret it now? Yeah, absolutely. As a hamstring, so, yeah, I definitely regret that. That's pretty big for the NFL to get one or two trades, I mean, really, it's that's where it's so different from hockey and different things like that, baseball. It just doesn't seem to move. You think, hey, there's talk that it could. I just don't necessarily see it. It's hard to, guys. I mean, we had I don't think any team will be, when you lose basically your top 4 receivers, I think every team would be affected by it. And that's kind of where we are. Robert was out there. He's still dealing with a foot injury. So, did he probably have some throws that he wish he had back? Absolutely. But it'd be nice to catch the ball, too. There were several drops in that game in some critical errors. And I think that was the other thing we talk about with our team. When you look at, why the difference, why did New England win? Well, they won because there were so few critical errors on their part. They had a couple guys, illegal man downfield was a critical error on theirs or whatever. But it was almost like, 5-1 where we had 5 errors and they had 1 error. That you're not going to beat them. You almost have to, you have to play a heck of a lot better than that. And I don't say you have to be perfect, but being perfect would be nice. That's the plan, against a heck of a football team. So, it's a huge challenge. But, yeah, I mean, we're is it a must-win? Yeah, well, that's what we're looking at it as. I mean, we need to win this game, and whatever it takes, that's what we got to try to come up with. Hopefully we'll get some players back. But if not, we got to find a way to get it done anyway.